Hello, everyone. I am Carrie back with Family eBiz, where we help families start and scale their businesses to find freedom in their life so that they can spend time doing the things that are important to them. Hey, today we are talking about burnout. I don't know about you, but I have been burned out and I need a break sometimes. And if you're working at home, which I know a lot of our moms are, they are work at home moms, they need help in this area. There's real challenge between trying to balance family and business and ourselves and our marriage and everything else that we're involved in. I have been overwhelmed at times and I am burned out, and then I just want to get rid of everything and sit on the couch and just sort of do nothing. Sometimes that would be nice, but that's not possible, you know? So there is a real myth between balance. All right. Balance is good. There are times we need a balance between all of them, but I also think it's more important that we know where our goal is. We're not going to be able to get everything done perfectly. And so we need to let go of the urgent and focus on what's important. Give yourself permission to drop some things. When I was homeschooling, I dropped all formal activities at my church. When I was homeschooling, I was not as involved in our business, even our online business. I had to take a step back. And so there are seasons of life that you need to say no to. And if you can say no to things, the right things, then you can avoid burnout. Let's talk about a few things that we could do. And I would like to, first of all, I was looking at my notes. Where's that? Um, okay, I don't quite see what I was looking at. I do think you need to set realistic expectations and give yourself grace. So if you've got a to-do list this long, you need to simplify it. And you can't get all those things done. And if you have a way to organize them, so always the most important thing is at the top, great. Use Trello. That's a great way to be able to do that as well. Also, give yourself grace because good is good enough. I've mentioned this recently. That's Dan Kennedy. That's what he taught me. Now, we've talked about that in business, but let's talk about this with business, family, home, marriage, all the life. Maybe you aren't going to have a perfectly clean bathroom or kitchen. Whoa, yep. And maybe you aren't going to do all the work yourself and you're going to buy one of those vacuum cleaners that's a Rumba. And I do that all the time. I close the doors and it does the whole room. And then I move to the next door, next room. And so that has been a life change for me. Is my house perfectly vacuumed? No. Is it perfectly dusted? No. Maybe when it comes to meals, you need to pay for a meal service that sends meals once or twice a a week. And then it's not perfect, maybe according to what you are thinking, but it can really help you as well. So good is good enough. Do what will work with your family. Let go of the guilt when you need to focus on business. Let go of the guilt. You let go and let the vacuum cleaner do its work. I think it's important too that we do have priorities. Yes, I personally believe that family is more important than business. And yet there are times that I have to focus on business. My family, my kids, when they were growing up, especially, they were not the focus of everything in our life. We did not spend 24/7 together. They were allowed some freedom. They spent time with their friends. I worked my schedule, realistic expectations, so that I homeschooled in the morning. We ate lunch together. They had independent work time in the afternoon and then went off to whatever activities or friends to play with. That afternoon time was when I could get some work done. When the kids were little, I only really worked one afternoon a week. I remember being right here in this room, sitting at a desk that was here, and it was back in the day where you had paper spreadsheets, and I did all the bookkeeping on a little calculator and those paper spreadsheets when my kids were taking a nap or reading a book quietly in their room. That was just the way we did it. And this was sort of a rhythm. So I think it's important. We don't get into like this perfect schedule. It was a rhythm. So on Tuesday afternoons, maybe my kids went down for a nap 30 minutes late. That's okay. I just know whenever they do go down for a nap, that was the time that I was going to work on bookkeeping. And so get out of the idea we've got to have everything on a certain time schedule, and it's more a rhythm. We get up for us, we get up, we eat breakfast together, homeschool, eat lunch together. They worked independently, I could work. Were the times all the same every time? No. And that was more when, especially when they were older in junior high and high school, I had a lot more freedom. So, realistic expectations, give yourself grace, go through rhythms, and then I would encourage you to involve your kids and maybe your spouse in the process. Our kids worked in our business. You've heard me tell this, and they could do all sorts of things, sometimes better than me. As I was like, how do we ship this thing? Where's that shipping thing? Because they had been doing it every day, and I just come in once a month to fill in, and I had to figure it all out again, what that shipping platform was. So they could do that. When they could drive it to the post office. Another thing is letting your kids help around the house. I did not want my kids to leave the house without knowing how to clean a bathroom or a kitchen or make their bed or, cook a meal. They all knew how to do those things. Did we teach them all everything at one time? No, it was gradual. But because they could help me in those areas, that freed me up to have a little bit more time to focus on business when I needed to. It took that burnout opportunity away. I was able to avoid burnout because I was not doing everything. All right. Give yourself grace, but then also don't expect yourself to do everything. And then I do think it's important that we take care of ourselves. We need to get enough sleep. We need to eat right. We need to get exercise. Now you may go on, oh my gosh, that's way too much. Not necessarily. I mean, you can go to bed at a decent hour. And if you know your kids, like one of my grandkids, I don't know what time he's waking up, but before daylight savings time, he's getting up at 5:30 in the morning or 6:30. I don't know. His little dog clock had to be green, and I think that was at 6:30. And when it was just me at home and his parents were at the hospital, I was like, is your dog green? And he'd say no. And I'd say, go back upstairs and play in your room because it'd be like 5:30 or 6. And he would go up there. And that gave me time to take care of myself. I could read my Bible and pray. I could prepare for the day, check on my little Facebook ads, make sure they were doing well, and just sort of get going. I would also journal. I've started journaling a little bit in the evening before I go to bed, doing my gratitude journal so that I go to bed thinking about what I am grateful for. So, what are some other things that you could incorporate into your day now to recharge without guilt? Go for a walk. Right now, it's springtime. It's beautiful outside. I would get up. Now, I was even in the snow in the winter. I would get up before everyone in the family and I would go for my walk. I needed that time. I wanted that time. I needed some time to just think and pray. Sometimes I listen to a podcast. It just really depended. Have a quiet coffee break. Again, I would do that in the morning, but if your kids go down for a nap, my mom is religious on this. She takes a break. Now it's about 4 o'clock, but I think when we went down or we were by ourselves, she would fix herself a cup of tea and just take a break. It may have only been 5 or 10 minutes, but she needed that to recharge. And then journaling, reading, finding a hobby. Don't only do work, find other things that are your hobbies. So that's a lot, that everything, but realistic expectations, give yourself grace. Don't do it all. Start to teach your kids, if you have kids at home, to help you and to realize that not everything is going to be perfect, whether that's in business, but also around the house. It may not be perfectly clean all the time. And then take care of yourself. If you take care of yourself health wise, I think that will do a tremendous amount of good because one, if you're getting enough sleep sleep will just do wonders. I personally think get the sleep that you need. And if you're a mom that your kids are taking a nap, I would take a 10-minute power nap. They usually took a nap for 2 hours, 10 minutes, and that would charge me back up for the rest of the day. You may not be that kind of person, but that was me. All right, so I want you to find one thing that you can do to give yourself grace or to take care of yourself this week so that you can be productive in your business. Hey, I'm Carrie Beck with Family eBiz. If you have not subscribed to this podcast, please do so and share it with a friend. And we will be able to get this out to more and more people that are looking for freedom through a business at home. Carrie Beck, Family eBiz. We'll talk to you next time.